Hello, and welcome to the Lessons from the Core podcast with your host, Lisa Khera. I'm so excited to have you here for this episode 15. This episode is sponsored by the Weekend Fashionista. Welcome to my guest today, Praveeni Perera.
Thanks for having me, Lisa.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm thrilled to have you all here on this podcast journey with me. I've taught Pilates for over 22 years. I'm a wife, a mother, a best-selling author, and I created this podcast to share these lessons from the core with you. As you listen in each week, I invite you to think about which roads do you keep going down? Where have you been unwilling to change your habits? Maybe now is the time to learn to self-reflect on those lessons and see the red flags faster so that you can get on the right road and path. Sometimes we can spend years on one road or pattern, and it's all that we know until we learn the right lesson from the core. On today's show, as I mentioned, I am so thrilled to have my friend, blogger, professor, and influencer, Praveeni Perera. And again, welcome. It's so awesome to have you on.
So excited to be here.
So Praveeni is also based here in Ottawa, Canada. She runs a blog and Instagram account called the Weekend Fashionista. Praveeni works full-time as a professor of international business at Algonquin College and is a published author, having written the book Cocktails and Conversations, a guide to networking. Congrats again on your book, and we're going to talk more about that. And you started your blog as a hobby in 2017 after friends and coworkers kept asking her where she got her outfits. And she's since grown it into something that you truly enjoyed. And you've really, even applied it with your traveling and business endeavors and even just what you share and how you teach with your students, which is a super extra layer of fun that they get to experience. And then you've also collaborated with Canadian international brands such as Fairmont Hotels, Ritz-Carlton, Suzy Shear, Sophia Grace, and Woodbine Entertainment. And again, today I, for the occasion, had to, of course, pick a Suzy Shear sweater to wear. I love seeing your videos and your reels with all of your unbelievable fashion inspiration. You inspire so many women to step it up in their closet, and it's a pleasure to have you on today.
Thank you so much. I'm a huge fan of Suzy Shear way before I started the blog as well. And actually, that's where it kind of got started because my coworkers would always say, I love your outfit. Where'd you get that blazer? Where'd you get that dress? Suzy Shear. So thank you for wearing your Suzy outfit as well.
For sure. And then how was that transition from planning it out and getting inspired and loving it to actually taking it to the techie aspect of blogging? Like, had you already been into website design and just linking that aspect of things, or was there a learning curve there?
There was a learning curve, and I knew nothing about blogging or bloggers or influencers. I knew zero. And I actually thought they just share items from their closet. So every time a brand that I liked would have a sale, I would go and I would shop the sale. I would do little videos of what I bought and take photos and post them on Instagram. And I figured, okay, that's easy. People can see them and I can just share the links with my friends. And if I have a website, I can just write about it and talk about how I style certain items. I had zero idea about monetization. I didn't even know that that was a thing. I just thought, oh, people are just doing this for fun. How lovely. And my biggest goal when I did find out about it was just to get accepted on Like to Know It. I had no idea about sponsored posts. I just figured if people buy an item that you linked, okay, you get commission. That's wonderful. That's a nice bonus.
Like
So
kind of an affiliate link thing where use my promo code and
exactly. Yeah.
okay,
And
nice.
it was
And
just
was that back 2017-ish as well?
that was in
Yeah,
2017. Yeah,
okay.
when I was doing that, and I had zero idea about any of the whole monetization aspect of it. So there was a lot of learning, a lot of researching, a lot of falling into it by accident. Suzy Shear was the first brand that did reach out to me for a collaboration. They were in way back in 2017, and I had, I think, under 1,000 followers at the time, but they really liked the work that I did, and I'm so grateful for the partnership with them for so many years. So
Yes, and that would that have been them finding you through your posts with like using Susie Shear hashtag?
exactly, yeah, and tagging them. And I figured
Yes, okay.
if they repost me, that's a win. That was literally my end goal was, oh
Yes.
wow, thank you for seeing my photo, and I hope more people can find it helpful. So it was just really enjoyable for me. I love doing it. My mom takes 90% of my photos. She's the weekend
Oh,
photographer.
lovely.
So it was just a
That's so
fun
sweet. It's so
endeavor.
nice when it's a family affair that way, you know, when you can really let your creativity shine and get some help from family members in that way. Now, did she inspire your fashionista in you?
Absolutely. From the time I was a little girl, I always thought she was so stylish. I loved, watching her put on her lipstick, and I had my little chapstick and my little purse that I would stuff with Monopoly money because I didn't have any real money. So yes, definitely. And I have a very close relationship with my mom. We get along really well. And she's the first one to tell me if something isn't flattering or if I need to, reassess my outfit choice or do a closet audit or something like that. So
Yes. Oh, nice. And we were talking one time about, have you ever done one of those color analysis for clothing and that? Have you? I want to look into that. So you'll have to hook me up with some of your resources.
absolutely. And you can do that pinch test as well, right? To see sort of your undertone and then kind of,
Okay. Okay. That helps to set things up.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. And do you want to explain that one to us?
Well, it's a little complicated and it's difficult to kind of
Or
show,
we
but
could
it
look it up. Okay.
you can I'll send you some resources. Maybe I'll share
Yeah, we could
something.
link it in the show notes if that works. But
Yeah,
yeah, that's always interesting because it is true. It's so unbelievable what color does to our skin tones and shadows and aging.
and the message we're sending with the colors we're wearing as well. So that's
Right, right,
interesting.
right. Yes. Are we radiating that fun energy? Are we in our professional mode? And too reflecting on feelings, I guess, as well, right? Just what kind of moods we're in and what we want to radiate. I love that. It's so interesting to just like work with that kind of canvas.
Absolutely. And there you can have so much fun with color. I talk about that a lot in my classes as well, because I teach international business and, different meanings that various cultures attribute to color. So,
Mhm.
for example, in Canada, we love to look professional. So we tend to wear more of the blacks and the grays and the blues. But in other countries, they
Yes.
might like something that's more bright and vibrant, like a yellow or a red, and just, you know, and kind of have fun with it. So it's really interesting. I could talk about this all day, but there's a lot of fun you can have with color.
And on teaching, was that something, did you dream about being a teacher all of your life or?
It wasn't my goal when I was growing up. It wasn't sort of, when people ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? I wanted to be a pediatrician. So stereotypical of a South Asian person. But
You
so
wanted to be a doctor, that was
I
on
wanted to be a
your
doctor and I wanted to
okay.
be a pediatrician.
Yes.
Um, but when I started studying science, I loved science. I was a total nerd. Science,
Mhm.
math, loved it.
And did
Uh,
you go to high school in Ottawa?
I did. I went to
Okay.
Nepean High School in Ottawa, and I was in French immersion there as well. So, I did take a few subjects in French, but of course, for university, it was all English.
Mhm.
Um, but when I want to say halfway through my undergrad in biology, I realized I really didn't like research, and maybe it really wasn't for me. And I had always liked business. It was something that I enjoyed, and it kind of came easily to me.
Mhm.
Uh, so I thought maybe for my master's, I can take a look at international business. And that's sort of where I kind of switched and went in to do my MBA. But I did want to finish my undergrad because I didn't want to be, throwing away those 2 years of school that I'd already done. So finished the undergrad in bio. And then when went on
And
to
then
study.
switched. Okay. Oh, good. Nice, nice. And and then so tell me about some of your like what are your favorite things to teach to your business students? I'm sure you love all of it, but is there a certain aspect of
Yeah, there are so many courses that or certain aspects of courses that I love teaching. Right now, I'm teaching a course on global communications and technologies, and it is one of the most fun courses to teach because we take a look at different cultures, how they communicate, different communication styles,
oh,
and then we
interesting.
add the whole image layer, like what's the message that I'm sending with the clothing that I'm wearing, with the way that I'm presenting myself, how can I better present myself, how can I make connections better, how could we network better. So there's so many different layers to that course. Even though we're focusing on an international aspect, it's really fun. And my favorite part of the course is when the students get to do a Dragon's Den style pitch. So they pick an
Oh,
international company and they're pitching that company to Canadian investors. I love that because every semester I learn something new from the students. I learn about a new company, I learn about a different business model. It's the most fun. And it's a little selfish because I'm doing it mainly for me, but they enjoy it as well.
and they're pitching to potential investors, like
Yeah.
actual investors or
It's usually myself and I'll have some guest judges in come in
okay.
and test their pitches, but we're training them to kind of pitch at that high level. We're training them to understand different business models, different ways of doing business around the world, financing, branding, and every year I'm blown away. They're just fantastic. Some of them just, they're so on brand. They've got the colors, they've got the logos. Some of them bring products in, so it's a really great assignment, and it's their final assignment. So it's like I said, it's a very fun course for me. And I think that
Yeah, and that would teach them so many skills from launching and pitching and PR and just as you said, communication. That's fantastic.
yeah, and we were so fortunate to have some Ottawa entrepreneurs and local celebrities in at our last class as well. So I try to bring in some industry experts to talk to them, so they get that firsthand experience.
That is so key, and it's so nice to have access to experts like that where you can directly ask them questions and just really let it help pave the way for those student interactions.
Yeah, for sure. And again, like I said, it's one of the most fun courses I teach, so I really enjoy it.
And are you doing both in person and online for
Um,
teaching?
the online provision is there if there's a horrible snowstorm or I'm sick.
Right.
I don't want
Okay.
to spread that to everybody.
Right.
Uh, but we are 100% in
Mostly.
person unless something untoward happens.
Okay. 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 Awesome. And you enjoy that. It's so nice to be back in person with everyone and
Absolutely, I love being on campus and in front of the students, and so they can see me and I can see them, because sometimes Zoom can get a little lonely when people don't have their cameras on. It feels like you're talking to yourself. So I really like being on campus. I'm so much happier now that we're in person.
yes, yes. And tell me about one of your favorite trips because I know as you said you're able to partner with some of the hotels and venues. So tell me about one of your favorites.
My favorite to date, I've had a lot of wonderful trips. There's two, I want to say. One was to, and you'll see why, it was with Sunwing Airlines, and we went to Los Cabos, Mexico, and it was wonderful. I was there for my birthday last year. I didn't plan it that way, but it just
Oh,
sort of,
gorgeous.
yeah, so we checked out two resorts. We did Secrets Los Cabos, and then we did Dreams, and one was an adult-only resort, and the other one was more family style, just because they wanted to feature both. But we had a wonderful time at both resorts, and it was kind of like a dream. I was pinching myself, like, wow, they're actually sending me here. So that was a wonderful trip. And the other one was with Destination Toronto. And through that, they sent me to Toronto, but I also partnered with Ritz-Carlton in Toronto. So that was a
Oh,
wonderful
gorgeous.
experience. It was so surreal. They sent me to the spa. They had this gorgeous room and a marble bathroom. So it was just an amazing experience. We went to the ballet, saw
Okay.
Swan Lake. So many wonderful things to do in Toronto. And I was really highlighting some of the luxury experiences that you can have that are within our own province, especially with the Ontario staycation net tax credit.
Yes.
So we were focusing on that. So I'd say those are two of my favorite blogging trips that I've
Oh,
had.
nice. Yeah, so many gems in Ontario. Have you been yet to the Sandbanks area and Picton and Wellington and
Not yet, but it is on my list for perhaps this summer. We've been doing quite a
good?
bit of traveling. We were in, of course, as you know, Sri Lanka for Christmas, and then
Yes, and New Year's, right?
New Year, yes,
And a
and then
hu and another huge, milestone occasion.
yes, I did recently engaged, so been a lot of wedding planning and a lot of busy times. And of course, we did go to Los Angeles in February as well, just to try to get away from the cold because I feel like we came back from Colombo a little
We
too
have
early.
had a lot of snow,
We've had a lot.
and oh my goodness, for the wedding planning, like, you just must be beside yourself, so excited, aside from marrying the love of your life, like, just to incorporate all the decor and outfits and color, and oh my goodness, you must just be, and your mom as well, she must be so excited to help you plan all that.
Yes, absolutely. It's a very happy, very exciting time, but also a very busy time. So it's busy personally, of course, with all the wedding planning and everything that goes into that,
Yeah,
but also professionally, just because my fiance and I have also been traveling and busy with our own sort of endeavors as well. So it's a
mm.
lot going on, but I'm very thankful for everything that is happening and thankful for the busyness instead of saying, oh my God,
Yes, yes,
this.
it's a nice busy, and it's nice to be productive and know that you have a purpose and, serving your students and all that. It's just such a nice way to give back to the community.
Yes, absolutely. It's definitely feel fulfilled in this career path for sure.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And I have a few questions that I really enjoy asking my guests. So my first one is I would love you for you to tell us about a red flag moment that taught you some of your own lessons from the core. So it could be personal, professional.
Okay, sure. So for a time I worked in project management and I've got two red flag moments in project management. So I initially started out as a business analyst for a nonprofit. I liked doing that,
Hmm.
um, but I always wanted to further my education in project management. I wanted to get some certifications and I really wanted to get my PMP. And my workplace at the time said, well, no, you can't do that because you're just a business analyst and that's not a function. Being a project manager and getting the PMP is not a function that's related to your job, even though they're very complementary roles. So that was a
Right.
big red flag. And they were saying, no, you need to do the business analysis certification. And I was like, well, why can't I do this one? This is the one I want to do. We'll have more experience. I'll be better trained to be a better employee
Hmm.
for you. And that was sort of a really big red flag for me in terms of feeling like I was held back. And I didn't leave the organization right away. I even looked into the other certification that I wasn't interested in. And then I got to the point where I thought, this isn't what I want to do. I'm going to have to invest my time and money in something I'm not really interested in. And that's not something that is going to serve me later on. So
Right.
taking a bit of a leap and going into a project management role where people were more supportive of me actually pursuing that certification. And I think that's really important because a lot of the time we might feel like, oh, our workplace or our boss or a supervisor doesn't want us to do this, so we shouldn't be, pursuing this education or training. But if
Right.
it doesn't align with your end goal, then don't, waste time doing something that isn't going to serve you later on. Sounds
100%. That's such good advice. And I mean, our passions radiate out, and if we're not truly passionate about that one aspect of the job, yes, there's certain aspects that we just have to do, but you do have to, as you said, listen to your inner knowing and listen to that inner gut that's saying, no, I actually really do want to pursue this specific training or avenue. Like listen to yourself, because there's probably a reason that you want to explore that particular thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's very uncomfortable when you can't, reach your full potential, or you have
Yes.
the
Or if
abilities.
someone is saying no or putting a roadblock there, thinking that they know best for you. Yes, that, and depending on our personalities, when we have people that think they know best for us,
Yes.
depending
It's like
on, yes.
a roadblock for sure. The
And
second,
you have a pretty huge Instagram account. How is that, just managing an account with so many followers? Like, are your DMs absolutely, like, how is just that?
I've sort of learned to focus on the positive. Just with that many people following and things reaching it, sometimes the messaging isn't always positive. Sometimes you get those negative comments. And in terms of managing the account, I try my best to respond to everybody, especially if they have a question. If it's something about what size is this, or how tall are you, because I'm this tall and I want to know how this fits on this type of a
Yes.
person, I will respond right away, because it's they're asking because they're genuinely interested. They have a question.
Hmm.
Maybe they want to buy something similar and they want to get that information.
Hmm.
So, and if it's just like, hi, hello, I still at least, put a like on it, or try to engage with them, because I'm grateful for the fact that they're following me. They enjoy the content. Negative comments, I just don't engage. I just don't even accept the message request, because I figure it's going to ruin my day, and then I'm going to go
Yes.
ruin somebody else's day if I'm in a bad mood, and I don't want to do that. So I rather just not engage with
Yes,
that.
not engage and just leave it. Yeah. Yeah. That is good advice. And we have had the pleasure of doing some Pilates together in person and online. And my next question, because I'm always, the question is either what is your favorite Pilates exercise, or if the person hasn't done it, then I just have to go generic exercise. But I know that you have done Pilates.
Oh,
So
thank
I can
you.
ask you, what is your favorite Pilates exercise?
I have two. So in general, I am trying my best to incorporate some Pilates into my workout routine.
Mhm.
Uh, I really like the hundreds, because I like that. I like to suffer through it. I'll be honest, because it's hard, but it's good for you. And I also like the corkscrew. Again, hard, but good for you.
Nice, very nice. Love those, both of those.
So those are my two
Those are
favorite
the two.
exercises. And in terms of the exercise I do sort of during the week, I try my best to get to the gym 3 to 4 times a week.
Mhm.
Been good this past week because I've been traveling, and with the time change and our spring forward and all of that.
Yep.
Uh, but I love to incorporate Pilates into my weekly routine, because it's just I feel so much better after. Like I said, it's hard
Doesn't it? Yeah. It just
physically.
opens you up, your posture. You can't help but stand a little bit taller when you're doing that. And when you tend to work out, do you like more group classes at the gym, or to do your own weight training session?
um, I like to do my own cardio and some of the machines, but for the longest time, was a big fan of the group classes. I loved it. I loved the weight training group classes. I liked the more sort of aerobic
Mhm.
group classes as well. And then I switched gyms. So I'm trying to find a time that works with my schedule where those classes
Yes.
are being offered. But I'm okay with both.
It's
So
both. Nice. Yeah. Because it's so key to find like what motivates us, what do we love, because sometimes we love just the social aspect of going to a class and knowing that you're going to meet up with, a few regulars that you see each week, or if you're going with a friend, or if you're the type of person that knows it's easier to just plug it into your home workout and roll right out of bed and just do the workout at home. Like, it's all so personal for what works for everyone. So that's really nice. And my third question is about, I always like to ask people if they have if they've ever written a book. And I know you mentioned that you have written your book. So tell us again the title, and we'll link that in the show notes.
Sure. It's Cocktails and Conversations, a guide to networking. And it's under 100 pages. It's for people who don't necessarily have time to read, such as myself. I love to read, but just finding time in my schedule to read for leisure is really challenging. I read a lot for my work. I have to,
Yes. Yeah.
but just for leisure. And I have a copy of it right here. I can show
Oh,
it.
show us. Yes, please.
So see, it's super short. It's under 100
Love
pages.
it.
Go through sort of the principles of networking,
Yep.
how to build your network, a little bit of dining etiquette as well. And I am going to be revamping this because I've sort of learned a little bit more. So I would love to add a little bit more,
So you'll
maybe as
have
I
another edition, because that was my kind of part two to the question. Do you have any plans for any more books?
Yes, I would love to write a second edition. And I know the publisher that I worked with was asking me about this, I want to say about a year ago. And I said, oh, no, 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 I don't think so. But now I'm revisiting that and
You're
thinking,
like
yeah,
ready.
there's a lot more
Oh, that's
knowledge.
so exciting. And you and I met in person for the first time at a networking event at Erica's event back in June. That's when we first met. So yeah, there's been so many fantastic networking events in Ottawa. We have so many different pockets and groups and hosts of different events, which is fantastic. It's so nice to try different food around the city and different areas of the city and just get to know different businesses and professionals. I love it. It's so key for myself. I've even back when I first opened my studio and started teaching Pilates, um, I would go to networking events, and it's been interesting because I've ran into some people that I used to go to events with 20 years ago. Back, so yeah, so it's, but it's so key. It's so nice to, as you said, practice your communication skills, practicing your follow-up skills, and just being open to new collaborations and connections. And for meeting, I was able to have you on the podcast, which has been so lovely. It's been so nice to have you on. And you have a lovely way for our listeners to take advantage of, one of your favorite stores to shop at, Sophia Grace
Sophie Grace, yes, they're
or
in.
Sophie Grace, I'm sorry. So, and we'll link up the website there, and that they can use the code WEEKEND, WKND, for 15% off.
Yes, yeah. So Sophie Grace is a Canadian brand. It's a women-owned business. It's run by founder Emma May. She's based in Calgary, and they have two showrooms, one in Calgary and one in Vancouver, but online across Canada and the US as well. So they sell women's workwear, and I think they're filling a really big need in the market because after Jacob left, I personally didn't really know where to shop for
Mhm,
workwear, like the staples, and have sort of like a workwear capsule. And I
mhm.
love some of their pieces that are sort of interchangeable because you can mix and match them with pieces you have in your closet. And honestly, they feel like pajamas, but they don't look like pajamas. So I love that. And they're just so comfortable and the fit is amazing. I'm 5'4" and size extra small. So I'm a hard person to fit for
Mhm.
workwear, and it's true to size. So I
And the
love.
colors, some of the colors of some of those pieces, because you'd made a reel, I guess, right, recently.
Yes, I was there last weekend. Yes.
Gorgeous. I'll have to link that up in the show notes, because it's beautiful just to see all the options.
Yeah, absolutely. And they do a lot of wonderful staples in their pants. And they'll do the blue and the black, so the navy and the black, but they also have like a wonderful Merlot color. They've got a Moroccan green, the ivory, which I think is so feminine and nice, and you can mix and match those colors easily. Of course, they have a beautiful fuchsia as well in their showroom that they're
Oh, I love.
they're doing in like a royal blue as well. So I'm thrilled. And I do want to let the listeners know that they have just come up with a Luxe collection for their silk blouses. And
Mhm.
it's the Kamala silk blouse, inspired by Kamala Harris, of course. So I am a huge fan of that. I have two of them, and if it was up to me, I would buy it in every color, but I need to restrain myself.
And I bet it feels amazing and looks amazing.
It does. It
What
just like
colors did you get it in?
I got it in a black because I wanted one that I could wear to work and then wear out as well.
Yes.
I got the Moroccan green. It's again such a rich color. You can pair it with ivory, you can pair it with a pair of jeans, a black skirt. Like
Yeah.
it works really well with a lot of the staples you have in your wardrobe.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, I'm loving some of the greens that are out lately, and fuchsias. There's so many, and yellows for the summer coming up again. And oh, I love it. It's so nice to wear color and, just as we said, like express your feelings and your artistic and your creative side. And
Absolutely. And your
yeah.
message with colors. Sometimes we might wear a color and we don't even realize what message we're sending. So I try to wear a lot of bright colors, especially if I'm teaching. I like to wear red or blue.
Mhm.
Red is a fun color, but some people can view it as being aggressive. So I figure I'm going to combat that with my friendly personality. So the students and blue, of course, inspires trust. So it's just a little bit more of that building relationships and getting people to kind of trust you.
Yes. And then the other promo that you had for Flax Maker.
Yes, so they're a online retailer and they do swimwear. I don't do a lot of swimwear on my
Oh, swimwear.
because I'm conscious of the fact that I am working as a professor. I do have students following me, and I don't want to put anything out there that I'm not proud of or not
Yeah.
comfortable with.
Mhm.
So I am definitely more conservative, I would say, in my style of dressing, but definitely when it comes to swimwear. And this is the only swimwear collaboration I did because they're more classy and conservative. They do a lot of one pieces with beautiful wraps and skirts, and it almost looks like a dress when you wear the skirt with the one piece. So
Oh,
I really love
beautiful.
their swimwear, and there is a code for $10 off your purchase. It's not, something that's going to break or get worn out the first time you wear it or the first time it hits the water. And again, it's wonderful even if you just want to lounge by the pool and look fabulous. So
Right. Yeah. Some of those coordinated outfits with the cover up and the bathing suit, it's just so classy. And yeah, you just feel like you're done up by the pool.
yeah, that's sort of my vibe, not so much splashing in the pool.
Lounging by the pool. Well, we will link up the promo codes for those in the show notes so that people can take advantage of that. And we will also link up your Instagram, which is the Weekend Fashionista, but we'll link it up, and your Facebook, and also on LinkedIn as well. You kind of use those the most active on those social media.
On
Yeah.
LinkedIn, I share a lot of my teaching. A lot of my students are on my LinkedIn. They love to see themselves on there and interact and I love making new connections on LinkedIn as well. It's wonderful,
Yes.
for business networking. And of course, having guest speakers in, and they like that as well. So I've, I've recently started reusing LinkedIn since we started doing everything in person. So
Yes, yes, I was finding a lot of certain pockets of networking events I was going to. That's exact first thing place where people were connecting was LinkedIn. So it's interesting to see the different pockets and different organizations and what they kind of gravitate towards: the Instagram, the LinkedIn, and people that utilize their email lists and email marketing. I find that's really key. So yeah, all of it. It's so nice to just have a presence everywhere, and then wherever your clients are best, kind of where they like to interact, right? And getting to know that. Well, it's been wonderful to have you on today, Praveeni. I really, really appreciate it. I've been looking forward to having you on, and we've got to spend time at lots of different networking events and some fun ladies' nights, taking advantage of some of the great restaurants here in Ottawa. So I want to thank you again for coming on, and I invite everyone to reach out if they have any questions for you with regards to business or outfits, any even just getting in with collaborations. I'm sure that's a whole That's a whole ball game, just knowing what to say yes to and what to say no to. So we might have to have you back on just to talk about all of those ins and outs as well. But again, I want to thank you for being here at this episode of the Lessons from the Core podcast. If you got anything out of this today, please reach out to us. You can always email us, and you can follow the podcast and give us a review. That would be fantastic. So thanks again for being here.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thanks.